5 reasons Nigeria should never go to war. The devastating consequences of war are well documented, leaving behind scars that can take generations to heal. For a country as diverse and complex as Nigeria, the potential fallout from war would be catastrophic. Drawing on the harsh lessons of the Nigerian Civil War 1967 to 1970, here are 5 compelling reasons why Nigeria should never go to war. 1. Risk of starvation. One of the most harrowing consequences of war is the widespread starvation that often accompanies it. During the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, over 1 million people died, many of them due to starvation caused by blockades and the disruption of food supplies. War disrupts agricultural productions, destroys infrastructure, and hampers the production of food, leading to famine. Nigeria is a country with significant agricultural potential, would see its food production capabilities crippled by conflict, leaving millions at risk of starvation. The specter of widespread hunger and malnutrition is a grim reminder of why Nigeria should avoid war at all costs. 2. Spread of diseases. War creates the perfect breeding ground for the spread of diseases. The collapse of healthcare systems, poor sanitation, and overcrowded refugee camps contribute to the rapid spread of communicable diseases. During the Nigerian Civil War, malnutrition and unsanitary conditions led to outbreaks of diseases like kwashiorkor, which ravaged the population, especially children. In a modern-day conflict, the spread of diseases could be even more severe, exacerbated by the high population density and poor healthcare infrastructure in many parts of Nigeria. The potential for pandemics is high, with diseases spreading not only within Nigeria, but also to neighboring countries, further destabilizing the region. 3. Humanitarian crisis. The humanitarian toll of war is immense, as witnessed during the Biafran War, where millions were displaced from their homes. A modern conflict in Nigeria would result in a similar, if not greater, displacement of people. With a population exceeding 200 million, the scale of a humanitarian crisis would be staggering. Refugee camps would be overwhelmed, and the international community would struggle to provide adequate support. The trauma of war, including the loss of loved ones, the destruction of communities, and the disruption of education and livelihoods, would leave deep psychological scars on the population. The cost of rebuilding lives and communities would be enormous, and the social fabric of the nation could be permanently damaged. 4. Economic devastation. The economic impact of war is often irreversible. During the Nigerian Civil War, the economy of the eastern region, which bore the brunt of the conflict, was decimated. In today's interconnected global economy, a war in Nigeria would not only devastate the country's economy, but also have ripple effects throughout West Africa and beyond. Nigeria's oil industry, which accounts for a significant portion of the nation's revenue, would be particularly vulnerable. The destruction of infrastructure, the flight of capital, and the loss of investor confidence would lead to economic collapse. The cost of war would drain resources that could otherwise be used for development, plunging the country into a cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. 5. Lessons from the Nigerian Civil War. The Nigerian Civil War was one of the darkest chapters in the nation's history, leaving a legacy of pain and loss that still lingers today. The war fought over the secession of Biafra resulted in an estimated 2 million deaths, the majority of whom were civilians. The war highlighted the dangers of ethnic and religious divisions, the devastating impact of starvation and diseases, and the long-term consequences of conflict on national unity. The lessons from these conflicts are clear. War only deepens divisions, causes unnecessary suffering, and sets back national development by decades. The post-war period saw efforts at reconciliation and rebuilding, but the scars remain, serving as a stark warning against the horrors of war. In conclusion, war is never a solution to conflict, and the potential consequences for Nigeria are too grave to ignore. Starvation, diseases, humanitarian crisis, economic devastation, and the painful lessons of the past all point to one conclusion: Nigeria should never go to war. The nation's future depends on its ability to maintain peace, foster unity, and address its challenges through dialogue and diplomacy. The memories of the Nigerian Civil War serve as a powerful reminder that war should always be the last resort, if at all. Peace and stability are the only paths to a prosperous and united Nigeria.